Digital transmission is the transmittal of digital signals between two or more points in a communication system. The signals can be binary or any other forms of discrete level digital pulses. With a digital transmission system, a physical facility such as pair of wires, a coaxial cable, or an optical fiber cable is required to interconnect the various points within the system. Now let us say digital transmission have several advantages over analog transmission. Important advantage is the noise immunity as a digital signal are inherently less susceptible than analog signals to interference caused by noise. Signal digital signals are better suited than analog signals for processing and combining using a technique called multiplexing. Digital transmission systems are more resistant to analog systems to additive noise because they use signal regeneration rather than signal amplification. Digital signals are simpler to measure and evaluate than analog signals. Disadvantages: transmitting digitally encoded analog signals require more bandwidth than simply transmitting the original analog signal, which makes it expensive. Also, conversion of analog signals into digital pulses prior and after transmission requires additional encoding and decoding circuitry. Precise time synchronization between the clocks in transmitters and receivers is required in digital transmission. Digital transmission systems are incompatible with older analog transmission systems. Now let us see pulse modulation, the process of sampling analog information signals and then converting those samples into discrete pulses and then transporting the pulses from a source to a destination over a physical transmission medium is called pulse modulation. Pulse modulation involves communication using a train of recurring pulses. There are four different types of pulses. Pulse modulation techniques: pulse width modulation. The width of a constant amplitude pulse is varied proportional to the amplitude of analog signal at the time the signal is sampled. It is sometimes called a pulse duration modulation or pulse length modulation. It is very popular in digital circuits because of its easy generation, and its applications include a voltage regulator and a class D audio amplifiers. Pulse position modulation. The position of a constant width pulse within a prescribed time slot is varied according to the amplitude of the sample of the analog signal. It is commonly used in communication over optic fibers as multipath fading is minimal. It is also used in communications for RC aircrafts, cars, etc. as demodulation is easy, allowing a low cost receiver. See the figure here. Now let us see pulse amplitude modulation. The amplitude of a and constant position is varied according to the amplitude of the sample of the analog signal. It resembles the original analog signal more than the wave forms for PWM or PPM telephone modems faster than 300 bits per second, and Ethernet use PAM. Pulse code modulation. The analog signal is sampled and then converted to a serial n-bit binary code for transmission. Each code has the same number of bits and requires the same length of the time for transmission. Applications include digital audio in computers and CDs. Now let us see pulse code modulation. PCM, invented by Alex H. Reeves in 1937, is the preferred method of communications within the public switched telephone network because with PCM it is easy to combine digitized voice and digital data into a single high-speed digital signal and propagate it over either metallic or optical fiber cables. With PCM, the pulses are of a fixed length and fixed amplitude. PCM is a binary system where a pulse within a prescribed time slot represents either logic 1 or logic 0 conditions. See the figure. The above figure shows a simplified block diagram of a single channel simplex PCM system. The band pass filter limits the frequency of the analog input signal to the standard voice band frequency range from 300 Hz to 3000 Hz. The sample and hold circuit periodically samples the analog input signal and converts those samples to the multiple PAM signal. The analog to digital converter converts the PAM samples to parallel PCM codes, which are converted to serial binary data in the parallel to serial converter and then outputted into the transmission lane as a serial digital pulses. Repeaters are placed at prescribed distances to regenerate these digital pulses. At the receiver side, the serial to parallel converter converts serial pulses received from the transmission line to the parallel PCM codes. The digital to analog converter converts the parallel PCM codes to multi-level PAM signals. The whole circuit is basically a low-pass filter that converts the PAM signal back to its original analog form. An integrated circuit that performs the PCM encoding and decoding functions is called code or decoder. PCM sampling. Sampling circuit in a PCM transmitter periodically samples the continually charging analog input voltage and converts those samples to a series of constant amplitude pulses, which can be more easily converted to binary PCM code. The two basic techniques to perform sampling exist. Natural sampling. In natural sampling, the pulse amplitude takes the shape of the analog waveforms for the period of the sampling pulse. The frequency spectrum of the sampled output is different from that of an ideal sample. See the figure. Flat top sampling. It is accomplished in a sample and hold circuit. Its purpose is to periodically sample the continually charging analog input voltage and convert those samples to a series of constant voltage PAM voltage levels. With flat top sampling, the input voltage is sampled with a narrow pulse and then relatively held constant until next sample is taken. See the figure. Flat top sampling introduces less aperture distortion than natural sampling and can operate with a slower analog to digital converter. Now let us see sampling rate. Nyquist sampling theorem states that for a sample to be reproduced accurately, minimum sampling rate Fs must be twice the higher input frequency Fa. Mathematically, the minimal Nyquist sampling rate Fs is Fs greater than or equal to 2 Fa, where Fs is the minimum Nyquist sample rate in Hz and Fa is the maximum analog input frequency in Hz. If Fs is less than the twice Fa, that is Fs is less than 2 Fa, aliasing or fold over distortion occurs. This can be overcome by using anti-aliasing filter before sampling to suppress the component before sampling. See the figure. Quantization is the process of converting quantization and the folded binary code. Quantization is the process of converting a continuous range of values into a finite range of discrete values. This is a function of analog to digital converter which create a series of digital values to represent the original analog signal. Quantization is required to convert the analog signal to PCM code with a limited number of combinations. Taking an example, a sine wave with peak amplitude of 5V varying from between 5V to minus 5V passing through every amplitude between them. A PCM code could have only 8 bits, which equates to only 2 to the power of 8 or 256 combinations, and to be converted, the sine wave values have to be rounded off. See the table here. The above table shows the 3-bit PCM code, which is 3-bit sine magnitude code with 8 possible combinations, 4 positive and 4 negative. The leftmost bit is the sine bit, 1 is equal to plus and 0 is equal to minus, and the remaining 2 rightmost bits represent magnitude. This type of code is called folded binary code because the codes on the bottom half of the table are an exact mirror image of the codes on the top, except for the sine bit. The magnitude difference between adjacent steps is called quantization interval or quantum. 1V for above table. For the above code, the maximum signal magnitude that can be encoded is plus 3V or minus 3V, and the minimum is plus 1V or minus 1V. If the magnitude of the sample exceeds the highest quantization interval, overload, distortion or peak limiting occurs. Assigning PCM codes to the absolute magnitudes is called quantizing. The magnitude of a quantum is also correct the resolution, it is equal to the voltage of the least significant bit of the PCM code. The smaller the magnitude of the quantum, the better the resolution, and the more accurately the quantized signal will resemble the original analog signal. See the figure here. Each sample voltage is rounded off to the closest available quantization level and then converted to its corresponding PCM code. The PAM signal in the transmitter is essentially the same PAM signal produced in the receiver, so any round off errors in the transmitted signal are reproduced when the code is converted back to the analog by the DAC in the receiver. The error is called quantization error, which is also quantization noise. The quantized signal shown above roughly resembles the original input signals, as with 3-bit PCM code. Poor resolution results and only 3 samples are taken from the analog signal. See the figure here. As shown above, the quality of PAM signal can be improved by using a PCM code with more bits, reducing the magnitude of quantum and improving the resolution. Also, the sampling the analog signals at a faster rate increases the quality, and the PAM signal resembles the analog signal closely. Quantization error is given by the following equation. See the equation here. Now let us see dynamic range. It is the ratio of largest possible magnitude, the smallest possible magnitude other than 0 volt that can be decoded by the digital to analog converter in the receiver. Mathematically, it is given by the following equation, where dr is dynamic range and Vmin is the quantum value resolution and Vmax is the maximum voltage magnitude that can be discreted by the receiver's DACs. Dynamic range can be expressed in the decibels as shown in the following equation, where n is the number of PCM bits. Now let us say signal voltage to quantization noise voltage ratio. The maximum quantization noise is half the resolution. Therefore, the worst possible signal voltage to quantization noise voltage ratio occurs when the input signal is at its minimum amplitude. Mathematically, the worst case voltage SQR is 2. For linear PCM codes, the signal power to quantization noise power ratio is determined by the following formula. See the formula here, where R is the resistance in ohms, V is RMS signal voltage in volts, Q is the quantization interval in volts, V square by R is average signal power in watts, and Q square by 12 by R is average quantization noise power in watts. See the figure here. Now let us see linear versus non-linear PCM codes. Linear codes, magnitude change between any two successive steps in uniform resolution or accuracy is the same for lower and higher amplitude signal. SQR for low amplitude signal is less than the SQR for higher amplitude signal. Non-linear step size increases with the amplitude of the input signal. More codes at the bottom. Distance between successive codes is greater for higher amplitude signals. Vmax by Vmin is increased. See the figure here. Now let us see companding. Companding is the process of compressing and expanding and is means of increasing the dynamic range of the communication system. Higher amplitudes analog signals are compressed prior to the transmission and then expanded in the receiver. See the figure. An analog input signal with a dynamic range of 50 dB is compressed to 25 dB prior to transmission and then expanded back at the receiver. With PCM, companding may be accomplished using analog or digital techniques. See the figure here. In the transmitter, the dynamic range of the analog signal is compressed, sampled, and then converted to a linear PCM code. In the receiver, the PCM code is converted to a PAM signal, filtered, and then expanded back to its original dynamic range. Two methods of analog compounding exist, also called log PCM codes. Log compounding. Mu-La is companding scheme used in the telephone network to get more dynamics to the 8-bit samples that is available with linear coding. Compression characteristics for Mu-La is as shown below. where Vmax is the maximum uncompressed analog input amplitude, Vn amplitude of the input signal at a particular instance of time, mu parameter used to define the amount of compression, a unit less V out compressed output amplitude. The graph shows the compression curves for several values of mu. The higher the mu, the more compression, and also for mu is equal to 0, the graph is linear. A law. In Europe, the ITUT law has established a law compounding to be used to approximate true logarithmic compounding. Compression characteristics for A law compounding is as shown in the figure. See the equations. Now let us see digital compounding. Digital compounding involves the compression in the transmitter after the input sample has been converted to a linear PCM code and then expansion in the receiver period to PCM decoding. See the following figures. Recent digitally compressed PCM system used 12-bit linear PCM code and an 8-bit compressed PCM code. The compression and expansion curves closely resemble analog mu law curves with the mu is equal to 255. The following figure shows 12 to 8-bit digital compression curve for positive values only. For negative values it's identical but just inverse. Thus, though 16 segments are present, this scheme is called 13 segment compression because the curve for segments 0, 1, minus 0 and minus 1 is a straight line. The digital compounding algorithm for 12-bit linear to 8-bit compressed code is quite simple, and the compressed code consists of a sign bit, a 3-bit segment identifier, and a 5-bit magnitude code, which simplifies the quantization interval within the specified segment. See the figures here. In the coding table shown above, the bit position designated with an X and truncated during compression, and thereafter last bit designated by ABCD along with the sign bit are transmitted as is. The analog signal is sampled and converted to linear 12-bit sign magnitude code. The sign bit is transferred directly to an 8-bit compressed code. The segment number is 8-bit code is determined by counting the number of leading zeros in the 11-bit magnitude portion of the linear code, beginning with the most significant bit and the subtracting the number of leading zeros from 7, which is the segment number. The segment number is converted to a 3-bit binary number and inserted into the 8-bit compressed code as the segment identifier. The 4 magnitude bits ABCD represents the quantization interval and are submitted into the least significant 4 bits of the 8-bit compressed code. See the below figure here. Segment 2 through 7 are subdivided into smaller segments. Each segment consists of 16 sub-segments corresponding to the 16 conditions possible for bits ABCD. In the segment 2, there are 2 codes per segment, and in segment 3, there are 4. The number of codes per subsegment doubles with each subsequent segment. So, in segment 7, each segment has 64 codes in the decoder. The most significant of the truncated bits is reinserted as logic 1. The remaining truncated bits are reinserted as zeros. This minimizes the magnitude of error introduced by compression and expansion process. Digital compression error. The magnitude of the compression error is not the same for all samples. However, the maximum percentage is the same in each segment other than segment 0 and 1, where there is no compression error, which is calculated using the following equation. See here. Every function performed by PCM encoder and decoder is now accomplished with a single integrated circuit chip called codec. Some of the most recent developed codes are called combo chips, as they include an initializing band pass filter, a sample and hold circuit, and the ADC in transaction, and a DAC, a hold circuit, and a band pass filter in the receive section. PCM line speed. Line speed is the data rate at which serial PCM bits are clocked out of the PCM encoder on the transmission line. Line speed is dependent on the sample rate and the number of bits in the compressed PCM mode. Mathematically, it is represented as below. Line speed is the transmission rate in bits per second. Samples per second is sample rate fs and bits per sample is the number of bits in the complex PCM code. Delta modulation PCM and differential PCM. Delta modulation PCM uses a single bit PCM code to achieve digital transmission of analog signals. Here only a single bit is transmitted, which simply indicate whether the present sample is larger or smaller in magnitude than the previous sample. If the current sample is larger in magnitude than a previous sample, a logic 1 is transmitted, and if it's smaller, logic 0 is transmitted. Differential pulse code modulation takes advantage of the sample to sample redundancies in typical speech waveforms with DPCM. A binary code proportional to the difference in the amplitude of two successive samples is transmitted rather than a binary code of an actual sample, as the range of the sample differences is less than the range of the individual sample amplitudes. Fewer bits are required for the DPCM than for conventional PCM. Now let us see multiplexing and T carriers. Multiplexing is the transmission of information from more than one source to more than one destination over the same transmission medium. Multiplexing is accomplished in various domains such as space, time, phase, frequency, and wavelength. Time division multiplexing with TDM system, transmission from multiple sources occur on the same transmission medium but not at the same time. The transmission from various sources interleaved in the time domain. The two basic forms of TDM are synchronous TDM and asynchronous or statical TDM. In synchronous TDM, time slot X is assigned to user M alone and cannot be used by any other user or other device. T-1 and ISDN telephone lines are common examples of synchronous time division multiplexing. Asynchronous time division multiplexing networks assign time slots only when they are to be used and delete them when they are idle. It is used in high density and high traffic applications. With PCM TDM system, two or more voice channels are sampled, converted to PCM codes, and then the time division multiplexed onto a single metallic or optical fiber cable. See the figure. The above figure shows a block diagram for PCM carrier system comprised of two DS0 channels that have been time division multiplexed. Each channel's input is alternatively sampled at an 8 kHz RTE and converted to an 8-bit PCM code. While the PCM code for channel 1 is being transmitted, channel 2 is sampled and converted to PCM code. When it's turn for channel 2's PCM code to be transmitted, the next sample is taken from channel 1 and converted to PCM code. This is a continuous process. See the figure. The multiplexer is simply an electronically controlled digital switch with two inputs and one output. One 8-bit PCM code from each channel is called TDM frame, and the time it takes to transmit one TDM frame is called frame time, and it is equal to reciprocal of sample rate. The above figure shows the frame allocation for a two-channel PCM system. The PCM code for each channel occupies a fixed time slot within the total TDM frame. See the figure. T1 digital carrier system. A digital carrier system is a communication system that uses digital pulse rather than analog signals to encode information. The following figure shows a block diagram for the Bell system T1 digital carrier system, which is the North American telephone standard. See the figure here. A T1 carrier system time division multiplexes PCM encoded samples from 24 voice band channels for transmission over a single metallic wire pair or a fiber optic cable. The multiplexer has 24 independent inputs and one time division multiplexer output. The 24 PCM output signals are subsequently selected and connected through the multiplexer to the transmission line. To become a T1 carrier, the system has to be line encoded and placed on the special conditional cables called T1 lines. A transmitting portion of a channel bank digitally encodes the 24 analog channels, adds signaling information into each channel, and multiplexes the digital stream onto the transmission medium. The receiving portion reverses the process. Each of the 24 channels contains an 8-bit PCM code and is sampled 8,000 times a second. Each channel is sampled at the same rate but may not be at the same time. The line speed is calculated as follows. Later, an additional bit called the framing bit is added to each frame. The framing bit occurs once per frame and is recovered at the receiver, and its main purpose is to maintain frame and sample synchronization between TDM transmitter and receiver. As see the figure, as a result of this extra bit, each frame now contains 193 bits, and the line speed for a T1 digital carrier system is 1.544 Mbps. D-type channel banks. A D-type channel bank refers to the terms used in T1 technology. Channel bank defines the type of formatting that is required for transmission on T1 trunk. The purpose of a channel bank in the telephone company is to form the foundation of the multiplexing and demultiplexing the 24 voice channels. D-type channel bank is one of the types of the channel bank which is used for digital signals. There are 5 kinds of channel banks that are used in the system: D1, D2, D3, D4 and DCT, digital carrier trunk. Earlier T1 carries system used D1 digital channel banks with a 7-bit magnitude only PCM code, analog compounding, and mu is equal to 100. Modern versions use digital compounded 8-bit sign magnitude compressed PCM codes with mu is equal to 255. Superframe TDM format. The 8 kbps signaling rate used with the early digital channel banks was excessive for signaling on a standard telephone voice circuits. Therefore, with modern channel banks, a signaling bit is substituted only into the least significant bit of every 6th frame. Hence, the few of more 6 frames have 8-bit resolution, while one in every 6 frames has only 7-bit resolution. Because only every 6th frame includes a signaling bit, it is necessary that all the frames should be numbered so that the receiver knows when to extract the signaling bit. Also, because signaling is accomplished with a 2-bit binary word, it is necessary to identify the most and least significant bits of signaling word. A superframe format was devised as shown below. Within each superframe are 12 consecutively numbered from 1 to 12. The signaling bits are substituted in frames 6 and 12, and the MSB into frame 6 and the LSB into frame 12. Frames 1 to 6 are called the A highway, with frame 6 designated the A channel signaling frame. Frames 7 to 12 are called the B highway, with frame 12 designated the B channel signaling frame. Therefore, in addition to identify the signaling frames, the 6th and 12th frame must also be positively identified to identify frames 6 and 12. A different framing bit sequence is used for the odd and the even numbered frames. The odd frames have an alternating input 1 or 0 pattern, and even frames have a 0 0 1 1 1 0 repetitive pattern. As a result, the combined framing bit pattern is 1000 1 1 0 1 1 1 0 0. The odd numbered frames are used for frame and sample synchronization, and even numbered frames are used to identify the A and B channel signaling frames. Frame 6 is identified by 0 or 1 transition in the framing bit between 4 and 6. Frame 12 is identified by 1 or 0 transition in the framing bit between frames 10 and 12. D4 channel banks time division multiplex 48 baseband telephone channels and operate at a transmission rate of 3.152 Mbps, which is slightly more than twice the line speed for 24 channel D1, D2, D3 channel banks. Because with D4 channel banks, rather than transmitting a single framing bit with each frame, A 10-bit frame synchronization pattern is used. Line speed is calculated as total number of bits is 8 bits per channel into 48 channels is equal to 384 bits per frame. An additional 10 bits are added for frames, so 394 bits per frame. Therefore, the speed of DS1C system is 394 into 8000 is equal to 3.152 Mbps. Extended superframe formats in telecommunication. Extended superframe is a T1 framing standard, sometimes called D5 framing, because it was first used in the D5 channel bank invented in the 1980s. It requires less frequent synchronization than the earlier superframe or D4 format and provides online real-time testing of circuit capability and operating condition. In ESF, a superframe is 24 frames long and the 193 bit of each frame is used as a framing bit. Only 6 of the 24 framing bits are used for the frame synchronization. Frame synchronization bits occur in the frames 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 and 24 and have bit sequence of 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. 6 additional framing bits in frames 1, 5, 9, 13, 17 and 21 are used for the error detection code called CRC6. The 12 remaining framing bits provide for a management channel called the facilities data link. FDL bits occur in the frames 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14, 15, 18, 19, 22 and 23. The extended superframe format supports a 4-bit signaling word with signaling bits provided in the second least significant bit of each channel. During every sixth frame, the signaling bit in the frame 6 is called the A bit, in the frame 12 is called the B bit, and frame 18 is C bit, and in 24 is D bit. These signaling streams are sometimes called the ABC and D signaling channels. Fractional T carrier service. Fractional T carriers emerged because standard T1 earners provide a higher capacity, that is higher bit rate than most users require. Fractional T1 systems distribute the channels in a standard T1 system among more than one user, allowing several subscribers to share one T1 line. Bit rates offered with fractional T1 carrier systems are 64 kbps, 128 kbps, 256 kbps, 384 kbps, 512 kbps and 768 kbps, with 384 kbps and 768 kbps being the most common. The minimum data rate necessary to propagate video information is 384 kbps. See the figure here. The above figure shows 4 subscribers combining their transmissions in a special unit called a data service unit, channel service unit. A DSU or CSU is a digital interface that provides the physical connection to a digital carrier network. User 1 is allocated 128 kbps, to user 2 256 kbps, user 3 384 kbps and user 4 768 kbps, for a total of 1.536 kbps.